Trey, you there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are. Okay, gotcha. How long till we go live?
A few seconds, probably.
Okay, gotcha. Just let me know.
Not sure if you can see this, ladies and gentlemen, but yes, you are seeing live streaming here on NASCAR Nerd 34. We are live here at the Boston International Speedway for race number 7 of the 2021 B season for the IMRC Cup Series. We're live here at the Boston International Speedway for the Monday Night Foreskin 130, and I will quickly change over to the team speak and allow Jonathan.
Right into the race. All right.
Jonathan Vigil, you just heard him right there to hear me without pressing a button. So give me 1 second, lads. And I believe that should do it. Jonathan, you can hear me all right?
Yes, sir. I can hear you all right.
All right, so welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to race number 7 of the 2021 B season of the IMRC Cup Series. My name is Trey Wright, filling in for Andrew Miller on this Monday afternoon here in the New England area of Boston. And alongside me is Jonathan Fagel. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Jonathan, this is going to be a fun race here at Boston. 130 laps are on the docket to make up the Monday Night Foreskin 130.
Yeah, what a name that is. My name is Jonathan Field, and pleasure being with you here at the Boston Raceway. You know, this track is fast, it's high banked, it's got a lot of tire wear. We're going to see some good racing tonight, multi-grooves, and you know, they talked about it in the pre-race about how drivers, when they come back to the server, they get a lap back, they get back on the lead lap, all but one lap. That's not going to happen tonight because the tire wear is so great. As we see here, they're coming down for the greens. Dean Stinson, Jeff Dixon, the second.
Indeed, Stinson and Dixon on the front row about to get the green flag. Green flag is in the air, and it's probably not going to last long because we're probably going to have a wreck in a couple of laps, as is the tradition here in the IMRC Cup Series to wreck on the first lap.
Yeah, good run there for Dane Stinson through turn number 1. Looks like the number 14, Jeff Dixon's going to drop back a little bit. Looks like Dunlap Pratt looking to the inside. He was quick in practice. He's going to come around here, pull up to second, and Dane Stinson is going to lead lap 1 for the Boston race here at the IMRC Cup Series.
Stinson, who won last week at the Outward Speedway, an absolutely barn burner of a finish there at Outward in Arkansas, comes into this race. Not sure where he is in the points. I'll take a look at that in just one moment. But around Dunlap Pratt is the 0-2 with the Camilo Gonzalez. As the race has become official, no first lap accident is happening. But Camilo Gonzalez, I believe I pronounced that right, has got up to second, and Dejan Weeks up to third, as now they're all single file throughout the majority of the field, Jonathan.
Yeah, nothing to report there for the first few laps. Nothing wrong with that at all. Look at Camille Gonzalez. He's got a good run here. You know, I was really impressed with the way he ran at Outward Speedway. He made some great moves. It was a lot of fun to watch. Now he's here on the Speedway, doing it all over again. Although, the big thing is with the tire wear, you have to be careful not to run too hard. I remember many times at this track in particular, you run too hard in the opening run. 10 laps later, you get pulled out from a 10-second lead and you're back to 30th place. Of course, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but we could see that tonight, as now further back, Oscar Ramos is looking for a pass on Jovan Anderson. Jovan Anderson, guy from the old days, if you will, from when I used to race back in 13 and 14 or so. Glad to see him out here. Shout out to him, and also Dane Stinson too, who used to race back in the day. He continues to lead, but look at Camille Gonzalez there, Trey.
Yep, Camille Gonzalez right on the back bumper of that 7 machine. Unfortunately, that is supposed to be a white with a blue racing stripes Ford Mustang, but not sure why the car file did not load for me. NR 2003 is stupid on my PC sometimes. If you watch this channel regularly, you will know that for a fact, but Stinson holding his own, looking for back-to-back victories on the season. Last driver to do that was Chris Emery back at Auto Club in Las Vegas earlier in the season, back in the month of August. And now we're seeing a nice green flag run to begin to develop. Closest battle on the track is between the 14er Jeff Dixon II, trying to get around your current points leader in the Cup Series, Dunlop Prad. Actually, for battle for second, hits up and to the inside goes Weeks in the 10 Smithfield. Eric Almirola looking car to the inside of that Vodafone 02 with the pushed forward numbers, if you will, side by side for second on lap 8 of 130. You might see a 130 instead of the scheduled 150 on the ticker right there. It is because obviously NR 2003 does not have green white checkered finishes, because this was made in a much simpler time where races ended under the yellow flag, so we have to build in our own. Cautions are turned off for this race for that reason. So a caution will be called by the drivers tonight, and you will hear Shane Sides in the 24 call that over the broadcast, the radio tonight from the tower, and coincidentally I should say, from his car as well. Sides in the 24, currently running 6th at the moment, right in front of Tristan Allen. And Tristan been running fairly well this season. Missed last week at Outward, was had a substitution from Cody Lamas, if I'm not mistaken. But Allen looking to gain some ground once again as it's getting really physical.
Oscar Ramos has got to go back. Yep. Yeah, Oscar Ramos there to the inside. He gets by Tristan Allen. That 80 car really performed well last week. Seeing Tristan Allen out of the car, that was unfortunate, but now he's back. Good to see him having a good run here. Looks like the 02 of Camilo Gonzalez, he's looking to the inside. He's all over Dejan Weeks. Really good racing so far right now, even though they aren't racing side by side. Besides, well, right as I say that, the 8 of Blake Warren goes by Will Goss there for position. Really good looking car for Blake Warren there, harkening back to Dale Jr. in 2016. Good battle there for third as well, or fourth for Dunlop Prad and Jeff Dixon second. Trey, I don't know if you've had much of an opportunity to race against Dunn a whole lot, but I tell you what, he is quite a driver, and he really knows how to manage his equipment and does well.
Indeed, he does. I've only done a handful of races at IMRC. I've done 3 races in the league so far myself. 1 cup race at Kentucky. If that was not the definition of baptism by fire, I do not know what it is. But and then
Darlington.
Yes,
that would be baptism by fire.
Yeah, or this track with the tire conservation you've got to do is Jeff Dixon trying to get around LaPrade. Every single lap he's trying to go low. He's going high at the moment, and these two are gaining on the 02 and the 10 at the moment. But Dane Stinson has led all 15 laps so far of the schedule 130. Sides to the inside of Ramos Jr. That is for the sixth position at the moment. Go back in here, battle for 9th between the 6 of Zach Rogers and the 8 of Blake Warren. Warren really wide through the corner.
That's the way you got to do it here, though. You wind up the outside lane. You know, it's amazing the speed that they're going here at this racetrack. They go off into turn 1 and turn 3 going 186 miles per hour. Once you get to the outside, you want to keep up as much speed as possible. Another thing about the outside, too, at a lot of tracks where there's a lot of grip up on that outside lane to keep the momentum going, you can often cool your tires up on the outside lane, which helps to conserve the tires, which is very important at this track. I still remember
lap
back
130 is the white flag.
IMRC lights. It was back in summer 2020 where I was racing Dejan Weeks, Daniel Day. Shout out to Eric Rodriguez as well, who I believe is in the field tonight, racing them for the win.
He is.
And just hanging on for racing for dear life, just hanging on, trying to fight the car and get to turn at the end of the run. We don't see that right now, but we see a good battle as looks like Dejan Weeks is looking all over Dane Stinson. Good battle here. Jeff Dixon, I noticed, is running the top. Dejan's run the bottom. Right as I say that, here comes Jeff to the inside for second. It's almost like SHR's out there with the number 10 and the 14, and Jeff Dixon is going to take second. Look at this. He's going to look for the lead. Dane Stinson looking to defend there.
Definitely appears he's got the best car tonight so far. Has gotten around Weeks for second. That 14 has been dialed in, and he's going to track down Stinson in the 7. But you did hit the nail right on the head there. Unfortunate with the SHR remark. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on who you ask. They're a lot more consistent than SHR are this season in real life NASCAR.
Sure.
It has been a tough season for Gene Haas and Tony Stewart and their NASCAR team. But Stinson has led all 20 laps so far, about to lead all 21. As now it's about 6 or so cars all within a second of one another. Both Vodafone cars as Gonzalez, trying to make it 3 wide between LaPrade and his same livery car of Oscar Ramos Jr. If I'm not mistaken, those two are teammates, given the livery on their cars.
Well, this is the thing about this racetrack here. You see those 6 guys under a blanket here for the top 6 spots, and when you have somebody out in front, they can really defend well, even though there are multiple lanes on this racetrack. Just the way the track washes out toward the outside lane, coming off the corner, Dean's really able to just hold them off right now. Dejan looking to the outside a little bit. Dunn had a run there. Well, let's see what happens here as they go off into turn number 1. It looks like Jeff Dixon will go to the outside. You know, that's the thing about the outside lane. It can be really good if you really want it to be. You have to work up the momentum and get it going on the outside lane. If you don't do it just right, sometimes you want to slow down more than you should, but you shouldn't. You got to carry a lot of speed on the outside lane. That can be costly for your tires, but it can be good for getting by guys around here. Look at Camilo Gonzalez. I'm always impressed with how he does out there. Good to see him.
He is doing well this afternoon, or tonight I should say, as LaPrade is going to try and take third away. It's a battle for second heats up. Stinson is not letting that lead go from Dixon, who is trying to get around him every single lap, and I can confirm that the 02 of Camilo Gonzalez and the 5 of Oscar Ramos Jr. are teammates with Fun Black Racing. Those 2 Vodafone Chevrolets sporting similar liveries this afternoon as we work on lap 26 of 130. It has been a quick race tonight, and you did mention Eric Rodriguez, who seems to be struggling in that body armor number 77 Mustang. He's out there at the tail end of the field in the 19th position. 19 cars, a pretty good showing for tonight's race here at Boston, and the top 6 continue to be on top of one another. Gonzalez to the inside of Dixon for second. Is LaPrade going to try and follow him? Yes, he is. And Gonzalez will slide job right in front of Dixon, and LaPrade almost took off the quarter panel of that Busch number 14 car. Very, very tight racing here at Boston. LaPrade to the inside of the 14 as Gonzalez tries to set up a move over the 7 of Stinson, I should say. And Dixon, second 2 laps ago, falls back to 4th in the clutches of Deion Weeks.
It's interesting to note, Stinson was a little bit quicker that last lap, but he was slower than the other guys on the previous laps. We're starting to see the tires wear out more. You have the number 5 of Oscar Ramos Jr. He's probably used his stuff up a little bit. He's starting to drop off that pack. But Shane Sides, I tell you, he was running comparable lap times with the leaders. We'll check him here at the line and see how he did. He ran a little slower there, 23.028. But Oscar Ramos is definitely starting to fall off of the pack here. He was 2/10 slower than some of the other guys. It's interesting to see Jeff Dixon run that outside lane, and what I notice is he's getting in that gray part of the racetrack, away from where you have a lot of the aero push from some of the guys that you're running by. Aero push, very much real on this game, even though it's not as much as nowadays. You want to get far away from those guys in the corner, as now we see a battle for the lead here, as here comes the 02 Camilo Gonzalez. He's looking all over Dan Stinson. Of course, as you saw, nobody's been able to get by him yet, but that might change here. Here comes Camilo. He goes to the inside, now the outside. Now he's going to try the Jeff Dixon line on the outside lane here in turn 1.
Caution is out, and someone, I think it's a 77 of Rodriguez, went around somebody. Has gone around. I think it may have been Blake Warren.
Sorry, Oscar. I don't know if that was my fault.
No, Warren was not. We'll see on the replay soon, but
road's open. Pit road's open.
Pit road open this time by. You hear it from the tower.
Oscar Ramos was in trouble in turn number 1.
Oh.
Looking on the replay here, he was racing with Shane Sides. Going into the corner, they were racing closely. Shane Sides moved up just a little bit to position himself to arc into the corner. They got together, and Ramos went into the wall to bring out the first caution on lap 32.
You see it right there on your screen. Glitches into the outside wall, calls the caution, and I believe that might have been Shane Sides that called that yellow as well, but that's going to shake things up quite a bit. And Stinson on the pit lane. Dixon, I think Dixon may have overshot his pit stall just a bit. Yes, he did.
He did.
So, Dixon is going to be in that pit lane
sideways,
very crookedly. That's going to be awkward exit of the pit lane. And Gonzalez will get off
I'm going to
second.
review that because I'm not too sure.
Stinson will win the race off the pit lane.
We just heard from the tower that Shane would review that wreck there. I don't
24
know.
is behind the 14.
It was one of those cases, Merv, it was almost racing deal where
24's coming down low to
both going for the
check
same piece of real estate. Plus, you have internet issues and netcode factoring into it. It just looked like really close, hard race. I don't know if he could really pin it on anybody there. I know Shane's a really good guy. I'm glad he gave some consideration to that. Yeah, let's review top 10.
Remind me to take a lap
we got
off my
Dean
lap
Stinson.
later.
Well, Shane's gonna mess it up a little bit, but let's go back and check it here with the top 10.
Juiceco will be next time by, I believe, given where Shane is at the moment. Got a couple of cars, more cars coming back down the pit lane. Chris Wentz in the number 71 machine. You got Henry Nova making a pretty, I don't want to say rare appearance this season, but he has not been in a lot of the races in the Cup this season, as Dijon Weeks down on the apron. Not sure if he was typing out a message in chat or what that was. No, he wasn't. Last chat was
Baden Field.
Oh gosh.
Baden Field, that's what it's all about.
Amen to that. Chris Wentz may have overshot his pit stall there just a little bit. Shane Sides still on the pit lane. We go back through the field. We'll mention a couple of guys we haven't actually. If they did not do the choose cone, I haven't heard from the tower if the choose cone is going to happen this time by. They would. Sides is still in the pit lane, so we'll have to wait and see on that. I don't believe we're going to be doing the choose cone this time by. No, you're not. So we're just going to go over your top 20. You're going to go over your top 19. Top 19, I guess, because that's how many cars are in the field. Dane Stinson is first. Camilo Gonzalez is second. It was might have one of the faster cars in the field. Third place,
LaPrade.
LaPrade in third place, your current points leader, looking to extend his points lead over, I believe. I'm trying to see.
I'll give myself a lap here.
Over Chris Wentz.
Yeah.
And then you got
Dijon LaPrade's there in third.
From my vantage point, the 5 working.
Dijon Weeks in fourth. Robbie Gilman in fifth. 6 places. Shane Sides, that's where he was before he came into the pits. Cody Lamas is 6th. Liam Tingley, good to see him up there in 7th. Of course, some guys pitted, of course. 8th place, Zach Rogers. 9th,
there won't be any
Tristan Allen. 10th,
choose cone 1 degree at the line.
And let's see here who
we're going to be doing the
actually, that might be...
Reminder, if you hit the cone, it's a little penalty.
And they're going to be doing the choose cone this time by for top 2. Take the inside lane. And LaPrade will go outside on this restart. So that's an interesting call there. Liam Tingley is going to come up to the, I believe he was 7th that last time by. He will advance up to 4th. A lot of guys electing to take the outside lane. This is going to be an interesting restart. Everybody's on fresh tires. And this is about right at where they would come down if this thing was going green all the way. Stinson is the control car. We'll see what he does on this restart. But your top 10 going back to the green flag are Dane Stinson, the 02, the 25 of Don LaPrade, the 02 of Camilo Gonzalez, the 03 of Liam Tingley, the 10 of Dijon Weeks, the 80 of Tristan Allen, making some strides up in here, the 69 of Robbie Gilvin, the 93 of Jovan Anderson, the 48 of Cody Lamas, and the 14 of Jeff Dixon. Green flag back out in the air, and a good jump for Stinson on the inside, but LaPrade gets a just as equal jump on the outside. That inside lane on the restart is so good. see if
And
we have any
LaPrada fell back
contact.
there. He's back to third. LaPrade back to third. They're racing side by side here. Cody Lombas and Liam Tingley for position. Looks like Zach Rodgers got a good run to the inside. Now what's going to be interesting to watch is some of those guys who pitted a lap later coming up through the field. Of course, that doesn't really mean much of a difference, but this track does. So let's see here. For the position, it's going to be Dean Stinson up in the lead and 0-2 Camilo Gonzalez in second. Look at that Viagra car out there. The number 69, Robbie Gilvin. Interesting jokes he's got for tonight's race.
And
versus, you know, the race name, of course.
And interesting for the race lead, the 0-2 of Gonzalez. Well, I was going to see how interesting it was to see how he was going to do on fresh Goodyears. And we could see our first lead change of the night, and Gonzalez has gotten around the 7. So lead change for the first time tonight here at Boston. Gonzalez will come around and lead lap number 39. And I saw Stinson clip the apron there on the exit of 2. And we're curious to see what this Vodafone 02 could do on these restarts, on these fresh Eagles. And
oh, yeah, I gotta get myself a lap. Forgot about that.
He has gotten around the 7 of Stinson. LaPrade back to third and single file throughout the majority of the field. First side-by-side battles between Sides and Allen. They will file that out with Allen being the winner of that as Sides, you heard there from the tower, get himself a lap. All 19 cars remaining on the racetrack, and all 19 of them are on the lead lap, and all 19 are in a line as Sides back down to the inside of Allen. That's the closest battle on the track at the moment as Stinson looked to get to the inside of Gonzalez there for the top position. As we close in on the halfway point, we're past the quarter of the way point through the Monday Night Foreskin 130 at Boston. And this has been an interesting race so far as Stinson, the most dominant car in the opening run before that, I want to say lap 25-ish caution involving Oscar Ramos and Shane Sides. The battle for third begins to heat up between Weeks and LaPrade. Given where Chris Wentz is running at the moment in the 18th position, LaPrade would extend his points lead. He's currently has 10 points over Wentz, but he's quickly losing ground. He's got a couple of cars to the inside. Weeks and Gilvin to the inside of that number 25 Camping World Machine. And 9 cars all within 1 second of one another. It has been an interesting race so far, I would say so, Jonathan.
It has, and Dun LaPrade up there in the 4th position. He's looking on Dejan Weeks. You know, I really think that Dean Stinson has the best car out there just looking at this. And, you know, the only way you can tell if somebody has the best car is once they get behind a Gago cars. And here he comes now looking for the lead. It'd be Camilo Gonzalez and Dean Stinson looking here, and he takes it back. Boy, I tell you what, 2 wins in a row possibly for Dean Stinson. That is really something. New name, new face, new car, new everything, new winning streak going on. Great to see for Dean Stinson. We got a battle here for, looks like the 5th position here, Cody Lamas. Look at Cody Lamas making that outside lane work. I love that scheme too. It's based off of Jimmy Johnson's, well, kind of based off of Jimmy Johnson's 2017 car, but also Eric Jones and Christopher Bell's 20 ride.
It does look like I would not, looking that from afar, that would definitely say that is a Stanley Tools car that Christopher Bell or Carl Edwards would have run back in 2016, but Lamas making some strides currently in the 6th.
Yeah, good run there. He's making the outside lane work. Jeff Dixon worked on it. Of course, Jeff Dixon had that poor pit stop, and he's up to 10th. Good battle there. Look at Cody Lamas on the outside lane. What you have to be so careful for on the outside lane, though, is like driving in too hard and washing up the hill and killing your run and killing your tires. Cody Lamas is doing a good job managing that so far, though.
Indeed, he is coming around to 82 laps to go in the Monday Night Foreskin 130. If you're just tuning in on this Monday night in late August, it has been a fun race here so far at the Boston International Speedway. And Dane Stinson has led the most laps so far as LaPrade sends it in through the corner. Big run, but that is going to wash out through the corner. Almost hits the outside wall, but he's going to have a nice run over Gonzalez going through the corner. Only two drivers have led this race so far. Stinson with the most laps and Gonzalez with only a handful of laps led. Weeks to the inside of the 25 of LaPrade. LaPrade trying his best to make that outside lane work, but I think he's using up a bit of those tires. They're about 20 or so laps into the run as to the outside of Stinson. Camilo, no, he's not gonna. He's gonna lose it right there, and to the inside of him goes a 10 of Dijon Weeks, and it is an absolute hornet's nest up in here for the battle for second, third, fourth, fifth, and pretty much everybody back to Liam Tingley. So about 9 cars in this top pack. Then go back to Jeff Dixon, the second, rounding out the top 10. Oscar Ramos Jr. involved in that lap 25-ish wreck with Shane Sides. I don't want to say that was a wreck. That was honestly just a one-car incident. But unfortunately, brought out the caution flag, and the way these guys are racing, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another yellow flag fly here at the Boston International Speedway. Well, we could see green flag pit stops, and those are always fun to have, as we have 76 laps remaining in this one. No, 78
laps to go.
Next time will be 76 laps remaining, 77 laps remaining, I believe.
Yep. It's
lap 53 of 130, and yeah, Dane Stinson has led almost all of them. Fastest lap belongs to Shane Sides. I don't believe that awards anything. But Sides currently running back in the 12th position, so the bottom half of the field, but top half all within a second of one another. Jeff Dixon falling back about a second in there, and now the battle for second is really cooking up. Weeks to the inside of Gonzalez. Let's see what Gilvin is willing to do.
As you were talking there, yeah. Camilo Gonzalez looking to the outside of Dejan Weeks here. Boy, I tell you what, the top 9 is all just, like you mentioned, all under a blanket here. And Camilo Gonzalez looking to the outside of Dejan Weeks. Weeks is going to take the run here. Look at Robbie Gilvin on the inside with the number 69 car there. He's looking on Camilo Gonzalez for position. He has a good run there. Dejan cannot get away from Camilo, though. Camilo, though, looks to the outside. He's working that lane very, very well. Dylan Pratt is going to fall back in line. I tell you what, somebody who's moved up a lot is Zach Rogers, who bumps Robbie Gilvin there. Zach Rogers running in 5th. He was run back toward around 10th or 11th on the previous one, and before this. Now he looks to the inside.
Oh, Gilvin!
Almost contact
Gilvin!
there.
Gilvin locked up.
Gilvin. That was close
almost locked. Gilvin locked up the tires. You saw the smoke on your screen right there as LaPrade goes to the inside of Rogers, and he may have flat spotted the Eagles on that Viagra number 69. So we'll have to see how that affects his performance. But got into that corner way too deep, and let's see if he makes the same mistake this time. No, he doesn't, as Gonzalez shuts the door on Gilvin. But to second goes Dejan Weeks.
And look at the 25 there, Dylan Pratt. He goes to the inside. He got a good run on Robbie Gilvin. You know, Robbie Gilvin, when he hit the apron there going into turn number 1, you do that sometimes when you're battling someone. You're so focused on the other guy that you don't race the racetrack. They always say race the racetrack. Don't race the other guy.
There.
Make contact there. 69 got into the 25. Zach Rogers is dropping back now. Liam Tingley's to his inside. Like
and
boy, they save it.
An incredible save out of
Jovan Anderson and Robbie Gilvin.
Good save,
there.
69.
Wow, look at that.
Incredible save, but that is going to cost him dearly. As Chris Emery with the send. Someone called the Nelk boys because Chris Emery just went full send on Will Goss in the NordVPN Camaro. And Goss is not going to be happy about that, but that was almost disaster for about 3 cars right there. Rogers got right into the back bumper, the 69 of Gilvin. Gilvin into Jovan Anderson in the 93 Dave Blaney tribute car, and great save out of both Anderson and Gilvin.
Here comes Jeff Dixon in the second now, looking for 6th. You mentioned the Blaney tribute car. That has been an icon for Jovan Anderson over the years. I remember back in 2013 or 14, he ran that number 93 with the Amical colors. That is an icon for him. I'd love to see it. Zach Rogers has fallen back a little bit. I think he did his tires in. Same with the 69. You have to be so careful not to heat up the tires. If you heat up the tires, they don't grip. Good racing back. We have good racing all over this racetrack, because now Shane Sides is starting to move up a little bit more, and Will Goss has got a run here, and Shane Sides moved up the position. And look at this here. Liam Tingley battling Zach Rogers. Tingley to the inside and Rogers to the outside. I I tell you what, anywhere you look on this racetrack, there is good racing. But Dane Stinson is holding command. Let's actually take a look at the top 10 here. We got Dane Stinson, Dejan Weeks, Camilo Gonzalez, Dun LaPrade, well, maybe for a little bit. Dun LaPrade moves up to third, and then the 0-2 Camilo Gonzalez. Whoa, Joven up the hill.
I think Joven Anderson might have used up his tires just a bit on this run, but Dixon has got a pretty good long run car. We saw that on the beginning stages, and we've seen this right here, taking advantage of the contact being made between Rogers, Gilvin, and Anderson. But he's up to 6th, though. Pretty good run going for Dixon, trying to get around Gonzalez for about the 4th position
Look
right
at the front,
there.
too. Dun LaPrade looking to the outside of Dejan Weeks. I almost said Joven Anderson. Joven Anderson, you know, in the chat, they could talk to each other, of course, during the race. Jeff Dixon, who just hit the wall there, he said sorry. Joven Anderson said, you good. Everybody's so respectful out there. We love it.
And most of the time, they're pretty respectful. I remember it was back at Kentucky in the race I ran, the race I was in, I believe that was August 9th or 16th it was. I believe it was August 9th at Kentucky. Those two got together, and there was a bit of a flame war there in the in-game chat. Thankfully, NR 2003 was able to censor some of the bad language in there. So, thankfully, unthankfully, depends on who you ask. But LaPrade to 2nd over the 10 of Dejan Weeks. Jeff Dixon up to 4th, and I think Gonzalez may have been using up his stuff, and Gilvin has definitely used up his stuff.
Well, I was going to say, it wouldn't be
17th.
I was going to say, it would not be NR 2003 with a good flame war, right?
It definitely would not. Even in offline, sometimes cars will get PO'd at one another and wreck. But Dane Stinson is not being PO'd with anybody. He is cruising right there. But LaPrade is playing the Jaws theme on the radio, on the stereo of his Camping World number 25 Camaro. 1500th of a second right behind Stinson. What was that?
And it looks like LaPrade. It looks like Stinson, his tires are starting to wear a little bit more. And LaPrade, he's so good at saving his tires. Of course, I have to admit a little bit of bias because I was his teammate at one point. He is a good friend of mine, but I do speak objectively outside of that he is a good tire saver, good racer. As we got a battle here, Camilo Gonzalez and Jeff Dixon are racing very close there. Henry Nova's going to come to pit lane, as he just indicated in the chat, and Camilo Gonzalez is going to take 4th. Look at this crossover here, though, Trey.
Oh, this is, oh boy, Gonzalez mirror driving the 14 of Dixon, and oh boy, Dixon not going to be happy about that, and these guys are on old tires. Dixon to the outside of Gonzalez. Gonzalez goes up to block, and
this is close here, blocking. Got to be so careful. You know, we saw with Joey Logano and Matt Kenseth, Kansas in 2015, where Logano clearly had the faster car, couldn't get around Kenseth. Eventually, after a while, just spun him. And I hope we don't see that, but that's what it could come to if need be. Of course, the need is always be if you're a racer, but you got to hold yourself back.
Indeed it is, and you saw a couple of guys coming down the pit road. I believe Liam Tingley may have spun on pit entrance. Coming down the pit lane.
A little bit of blocking. Not to interrupt you there, but a little bit of blocking going to turn number 1. Camilo Gonzalez looked to the inside of Dejan Weeks. He'll try him here on the outside. They were racing very closely. A little bit of block as now Robbie Gilvin comes out of the pits. That should be the final stop for fuel, but we will see.
Definitely not for tire. I believe everybody still needs to take tires. The tire run, if I'm not mistaken, is about 40 to 50 laps, and we are about 50 laps from the finish, so these guys are going to have to come down at least one more time, and you can see the lap times. You see that last time by 23:49. The best lap is about a second faster, not a second faster, but still quite a bit faster than that for Stinson. As you see a lot of guys, I expected Gilvin to come down the pit lane. He really used up his stuff on that run, and he is going to fly right around the 7 of Stinson. You're going to see the difference of old worn Goodyear Eagles versus fresh stickers, and around he goes.
Yeah, we've been talking this race about how Jeff Dixon has used that outside lane so well. He made a run on the outside, coming off of turn 2 on Dejan Weeks, went to the inside going into 3, now at the start-finish line, cleared that pass. He's going to take the 4th position. Good recovery there for Jeff Dixon the 2nd. You know, this is his first Cup Series season, but he is no rookie to this game. He's raced in RTG, Open Speedway. He is a veteran racer. He knows the ins and outs of this game, this simulator, not even a game. Shoot.
It's a lifestyle.
Running really well. It's a lifestyle. Yeah, that's not a bad way to put it. But look at Camille Gonzalez here. He has really been running. I'm concerned from him, though. You know, running this hard with still some laps to go before you have to pit, you got to worry about burning up your stuff and falling back. But Camilo Gonzalez, for the most part now, is doing pretty good as he goes way inside to Dunlap here. 4 seconds, he'll take that. Dunlap is going to save his stuff.
Indeed he is, and forgot to mention it, but about 13 laps ago, that was the halfway point through the Monday Night Foreskin 130.
Good racing back there. Blake Warren, wow.
That was a bit of a moment right there between the 80 and the 5 and the 8 as Sides is going to come down the pit lane abruptly. Same with Cody Lamas. Almost.
Oh, we got trouble on the front straightaway.
Zach Rogers
the front bumper. Chris Wett's here.
Caution
is called out. And ladies and gentlemen, that is going to change everything. Goss is down the pit lane.
And it looked like Cody Lamas and Shane Sides both got onto pit road before the caution was called, or they got on to pit road before the caution was called, so they'll be able to take their stops. And what a good break.
That is going to throw pretty much the entire race into chaos as Rogers is getting spun on the front straightaway. I'm not sure. I believe it may have been off the front bumper of DeJean Weeks in the 93.
It was so I was looking at that there. It looked like the 71 and the 6 made some contact as I called out there. It was just a whole checkup from that 24 car going on to pit road. Yeah, let's take a. I'm taking a look at it here. The 5 slowed up. The 71 had nowhere to go. Looked like the 6 was already going to be spinning anyways. So
I was already in pit road.
Joven did get by the wreck there, but that was quite a chain reaction wreck. What are you seeing on your end?
I saw the same thing. It was simply just chain reaction wreck. I mean, chain reaction incident with Sides coming down the pit lane. And
thank you for claim 71.
And it was
03 is lucky dog according to the standings.
71 of Chris Wentz taking responsibility for this accident. We'll see right here, and not much you can really do at 160 miles an hour. As I think Rogers was going around regardless. So
go and take wave around if you were. There's no lead lap cars in front of you.
And now looks like Henry Nova, Robbie Gilvin, DeJean Weeks, and Will Goss will all take the wave around. Same with Cody Lamas, he just pitted, and of course Shane Sides just pitted, so they're going to restart in the lead.
Jeff Dixon once again missing his pit stall. So this is an interesting pit lane to get down. It's curved on the inside as Jack drops first, and I believe Stinson will lead the race off the pit lane, but a good stop for the 5 of Oscar Ramos.
Yeah, let's take a look
let's
go back and take a look at what happened to Jeff Dixon there coming on the pit road. That is unusual to have 2 stops in a row where you have issues like that. Let's take a look here.
He's just going down, and overshoots it just by a bit in the 14.
Leaders are in turn 1.
That can be hard too when you have a pit box that is right in front of somebody who's already parked in there, just trying to get that angle right, because you're trying to make up as much speed as possible. It also got to get in there so carefully, because even though this is one of the widest pit boxes that you have on the circuit, is still very tight. You know, you think about it, just driving down the highway, doing 70 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden you have to stop at a box. That's pretty much what it's like.
Cars,
of course,
so
everybody out there
should be in front of
the experience of trying to get in.
You should be like whoever is like in position in front of you. That's
just
the car.
Like kind of give your insight of what it's like coming down pit road, especially during green flag stops. What your experience is.
That took service.
Pretty interesting. We're gonna go back to that incredible save out of Robbie Gilvin on lap 59. And you see, it was a similar accident. I mean, like Zach Rogers runs in the back of Anderson. Anderson runs in the back of Gilvin, and both incredible save out of both the 93 and the 69. But Rogers
choose cone there,
2 for 2.
Just to the choose cone. Cody Lamas chose the inside. Shane Sides goes to the outside, and then Dane Stinson, Jeff Dixon, Dunlap Pratt, Zach Rogers, Camilo Gonzalez, Jovan Anderson, Tristan Allen, and Henry Nova make up the top 10, then it's going to be Liam Tingley, Chris Emery. Oh, nope, Chris Emery went to the inside. Never mind that. So Liam Tingley, and then Blake Warren, Chris Emery, looks like the 77 of Eric Rodriguez, 27 of Will Goss, 69 of Robbie Gilvin, and then the 10 of Dejan Weeks. That's the full field rundown.
Ramos back down the pit lane for something. Not sure what I think he may have been, not sure what the deal was there on Ramos, but
We'll check that.
Lamas and Sides will make up your front row on the restart. Stinson the furthest back he has been all race long, and they pit at about lap 80. They can do about 50 laps as going back through the gears. Green flag back out in the air with 48 laps to 48 laps remaining at Boston, and they're going to be
Cody Lamas.
They are going to be cutting this tire strategy very, very tight. In the lights race, we saw a couple of guys blow tires within the last 5 laps. Yours truly was one of those that blew a tire in the last couple of laps, and that was on about a 40-45 lap run at the end of the Monday Night Foreskin 100 back on Friday night. But Lamas with a good jump leading his first laps, but Stinson wants that lead back, sides down to the inside for a brief moment there on Stinson. And
To poke a little fun at you. A tire is a good key word for a controller.
Yeah.
But we've all been there. We've all been there before.
Those in fact were 2 separate incidences. As Oscar Ramos, I believe, will come off of the pit lane right in front of the leaders, who will duck down to the inside. But those were actually 2 different incidences. If you know me and if you've seen some of the stuff I've done, I am not that experienced with NR 2003 online as Zach Rogers to the inside of Oscar Ramos. 3 wide.
Yeah, look at the 14 there.
Oh, he clips the apron. He clips the apron again. LaPrada is going to take advantage.
Yeah, Zach Rogers, he's also got a little bit of lag too. I noticed he was moving side to side. Everybody's lag. Well, the 5 has got a little bit of lag. The 6 has got a little bit of lag too. Natural par for the course for this game, of course. And looks like the 48 of Cody Lamas is able to hang on for now. Look at Oscar Ramos really trying to race, even though 1 lap down, 2 laps down actually. Wanted to report he missed his pit box, so he had to come back around and get tires again when they went 1 to green. Tough break for Oscar Ramos though. He was running pretty well, but his teammate, look at that. That could be a good photo there for the team. The 02 and the 5, Camille Gonzalez, Oscar Ramos Jr. Very good racers there. Fun to watch them out here. And, I'm curious to see what Jeff Dixon is going to do here. 'Cause like you mentioned, he is good on the long runs, and he runs that outside lane really well. As we got a battle for the lead here.
Stinson to the inside of Cody Lamas. We'll see if that pulls inside just a bit.
He's got it.
And off of turn 2 is going to clear him with an aggressive block on the corner. The Jeff Dixon got in the outside wall just a bit. That's going to give P4 to the 6 of Rogers. And Sides knows his way around the Boston International Speedway. He's run a lot of test laps here in the past. And he was the lights winner back on Friday in the Monday Night Foreskin 100. So Sides knows his way around this tiny little New England short track. And
he does indeed. I don't know if you call it a short track though, but
it is.
I see what you mean.
It is technically a short track. I mean, it's still. You go to like the track info. It's 1.09 oval, so it races like a bit of a super speedway, but it is kind of like a short track as for second size. The inside of Lamas not able to make the pass. Gonna lose some momentum there on the inside. And we'll see if Zach Rogers is able to get around these guys to make a run at this lead, but it has been all Stinson in the 7.
Yes. One thing I want to point out is when they go into the corners, you notice the front splitter will sag down to the racetrack. These guys are clutching to save fuel, to even get the nose planted going into the corners. Now Cody Lamas drops back a lot. He's going to drop back to 5th as here comes. And we have a cluster back here. The number 5 of Oscar Ramos Jr., the lap car, all over these guys racing for position. It's making it really fun, but I'm sure the drivers are not happy. As look at Zach Rogers now. He's worked his way up to 2nd as now Shane Sides looks for that position, and he backs out a bit there. He's looking to save. Zach Rogers seems to have a very good short run car. Don't know about long run, but he's sure showing his short run speed here, so he's looking for the lead. We've seen Dane control this race Do you think, what do you think for the rest of this race, how Dane's going to do?
I think Dane is my pick to win this race, but I'm going to take this run that Rogers has right here up into the top part of the grid with a slight grain of salt. We saw in that second run there, Rogers really burned the tires off of that Red Bull number 6 Mustang. So we'll see how he's able to do here, but he is running up with the big dogs right now, running right behind the 7 of Stinson, and might make a run at leading a lap here right on the back bump. We're going to go on board with the 6. Show you how close he is.
He's driving it so hard into the corner. When you do that, that burns up the tire so much. I think the thing he's trying to go for right now is get the lead and then defend. It is, but this is a hard track to defend from. But if you can do it, you can really do it strong. As here comes Zach Rogers for the lead on the inside. Pair of Ford Mustangs racing for the lead. Hit the apron a little bit.
Go up the racetrack.
Ooh, good racing there. Side by side down the back straightaway here. Dane Stinson's going to take it back, but look at Zach Rogers looking to the inside. Dane Stinson clears Rogers. Now is going to come off for turn number 4. Single file for the first 5, though. Desjardins is looking to the outside of Jeff Dixon there. That is good racing there between the Stewart Haas cars. And racing closely here up front, still Zach Rogers and Dane Stinson.
And what I will, another thing about Zach Rogers, I don't mean to like be showing all the negatives out of the 6 car. It's been a really strong run for the 16 today, given where like the last couple of races
here he comes for the lead.
To the inside of Stinson. He did run. He has run into the back of a couple of different people this afternoon. You saw with the Jovan Anderson save, kind of chain reacted with that, and he did get run into by Chris Wentz's for the race lead. Zach Rogers in the 6 underneath Dane Stinson. Side's going to try and get past Stinson as well. Stinson mirror drives just a bit, but new race leader. The third or fourth race, the 4th race leader, Zach Rogers, but to the outside, look at Stinson. And three wide there. 3 wide for the lead. Sides backs out of it. Stinson not going to be too happy with Sides there. To the inside goes to 24, and that's going to help out Zach Rogers, but Sides was trying to send it there on the inside of both Rogers and Stinson. And oh boy, they're 3 wide in the back between Tingley, Camilo Gonzalez, and Jovan Anderson there for a brief moment.
Sides was on the inside of Zach Rogers. They're really just trying to keep the car down. That is so hard to do when you're trying to run your own lane. As here comes Camilo Gonzalez to the inside of Cody Lamas. He's got to run, looking for that position. He's underneath Dunlap Prad now. Camilo Gonzalez has a big run here. He'll race Dunlap Prad as they go into turn number 3. The 2 Chevrolets there.
Battle for the lead was cooking there for a second. Stinson trying to get back around the 6 of Rogers there.
Yeah, looks Stinson looking all over.
And I know these cars are equal with fixed setups.
Oh, look to the outside here. Here comes Stinson. He's got to run.
He's got to run. Can he make it stick? Rogers going to try and drive that inside. But off of turn number 4. Stinson back out in front of this race with 26 laps remaining in the Monday Night Foreskin 130. Now what can Sides do to get around Rogers? I think Rogers has really burned up those Goodyear Eagles.
You can see that indeed. Just with the way he's run, the way Shane Sides is all over him. Rogers was 2/10 slower than a lot of the guys he's running around right now. He's burned up the stuff. He's probably going to drop back here. We'll see what happens. The Shane Sides is going to take that 2nd position away off of turn number 2. Rogers is trying to cross over, but just the tires are not gripping. He's got to cool them down, fall back a little bit, and try and make it a run, especially if this thing goes green. And speaking of which, Trey, we only have 24 laps to go. This race has gone by quick as the 24 car is looking for the lead.
It has really gone by quickly as Sides always got a huge run on Stinson to the outside of the 7. Here he goes. Does he have the stuff, or does Stinson? Oh, he's going to have the outside lane. He's got the middle groove. They're going to be side by side. They'll be door to door down the front straightaway with about 23 to go. Can Sides put it there? Lags just a bit.
Into the corner.
He is sending it there. And he's going to have him clear. No, not just yet. I think he's going to have
the preferred groove here. He's going to take the outside lane, but Dane's got a big run on the inside. Wow. Good run there by Dane Stentz. That was impressive because typically on the outside lane, you get that big run, you get that big launch and take the lead. Dane washes up the hill a little bit. He's doing a little diamond arc there. If you notice, gets him to run off the exit here as he goes into turn number 3. Shane's going to work to the outside to try carrying that momentum. Dane's got the run, and Shane washes up just a little bit, almost hits the wall. We'll see what Dane can do down here in turn number 1. He goes up the hill a little bit, does a little diamond effect. Watch this here. He goes down the hill, and he's going to take the lead back from Shane's side. Look at Dejan Weeks now. He's going to the outside. And Jeff Dixon, he just watched that all unfold. Robbie Gilvin is moving up quite a bit.
Oh, and sides down the pit lane.
Shane to pit road. 21 to go. 20 to go now.
I think this should be, I'm not sure if he, all 4 tires look to be up on that 24. You see a couple of guys. You see Eric Rodriguez and Henry Nova making contact entering the pit lane.
And Will Goss is going to come to pit lane here too this time.
You see
Will Goss.
Blake
and
Warren.
It was a scheduled pit stop for Shane sides.
And Blake Warren with a ton. Look at the amount of damage on that Exalta number 8 machine. He has been on the outside wall for a hot minute. As Nova and both of those
get a good
cars.
look at that and see what happened to Blake Warren. See.
Right now, could we see the it's a bit of a strategy for the late in the race? They're 30 laps into the tire run. Actually, they're about 35, excuse me, into the tire run. So these Goodyear Eagles have got to be screaming in pain. So
they do.
They're gonna go 3 wide for second between a couple of the SHR guys and Zach Rogers. Rogers trying to utilize the outside lane, but he has just burned up his Goodyear Eagles to a crisp. As Dixon looking to get around the SHR font-looking number 10 car. I'm not sure if those guys are actually teammates.
Robbie Gilvin up the hill. He gets into Zach
Rogers.
Rogers is loose. He does not spin, though. That was close. Robbie Gilvin, a very aggressive driver, and you saw it there. 2 aggressive drivers racing each other. Zach Rogers, of course, has really burned up his stuff, starting to fall back there.
And
he's going to go from
down the
3rd
pit lane.
all the way back. Let's see where he's going to go. 3rd back to 7th, and yep, Blake Warren back to pit road there.
I'm not sure if
Dane's got a little bit of bench.
It was I believe it was a speeding penalty for the 8 of Blake Warren. So a horrible day gone worse. And you said something.
Dejan, out on the racetrack here, Dejan was to the outside of Jeff Dixon. Dixon stuck his nose in there, almost got into the back, but that could have been really big. Jeff Dixon's going to look to see if that outside lane's going to work. Look at this here. He's going to pull to the inside of Dejan. He's got a run here going down the backstretch.
Big run.
Turn number 3 there.
Big Jungus run for the 14 of Dixon. And he will get to the inside.
And here comes Dejan Weeks to pit road. Dejan to pit road.
I mean, we've only got 15 to go as he just about hits the commitment cone right there. Not sure if that's going to be a commitment violation or what. But I
want to report that last lap. Will Goss ran the fastest lap of the race with the 21.786. That's the fastest of any driver, fastest that he has ran. This is going to be very interesting to see how it cycles out. Shane also ran 21.872. Once this all cycles out, I think we're going to see Shane and that 27 with a bigger advantage than when they came into pit road. Dane Stenson's run about 1.5 seconds slower than, about 1 3/10 seconds slower than what those guys are. This could be interesting to watch here.
This is going to be an interesting one to watch.
Look at Robbie Gilvin.
Dixon is really closing in on the 7. As Gilvin, my goodness! Oscar Ramos and Gilvin is in the outside wall. Caution is out. Henry Nova involved as well. Back down the apron and hello, yellow. This race just played
lucky dog.
right into the favor of everybody that just came down the pit lane.
Pits are closed.
Yeah, I don't know about that though. They're going to be trapped. Look, they're going to be trapped a lap down. They're going to have to take the wave around. That's going to kill their track position. It would have been better if it would have stayed green, but it looked like out on the racetrack here. We saw the 69. He was blocking that 02 of Camille Gonzalez hard to the apron, and going into the corner, it looked like the 02 just washed up the hill, got into the 69. Close race in there. Tough break for Henry Nova there to get into him. But yeah, like you mentioned, they're racing hard out here all sorts of tire strategy going on.
Do we have any claims for the incident?
Yeah, we see the O2, and we're hearing from the spotter tower. People looking to see if anybody claims about that. That was Camille Gonzalez turning around Robbie Gilvin there, and that is going to shake this entire race up. And those two were just racing hard, and Gilvin was running third at the time. That was a battle for the final podium position, and Nova unfortunately a lap
Still looking
down.
for a claim unless it's racing deal. Pure
And I
open
think
this time.
I think it was
No,
just,
Lucky Dog is 52.
I personally think it was just a racing deal there.
69's claiming.
And nope, Robbie Gilvin has claimed responsibility for that accident.
Interesting.
And
That's interesting, just because Camilo ran up into it. But, you know, it's one of those incidents, Trey, where the incident starts in turn 4, and they don't crash until they get to about turn 1. And we saw it there.
Exactly, and Stinson will lead the field down the pit lane, and we'll see if anybody elects to take 2 tires. And we'll follow along with the 14 of Jeff Dixon. Finally, a good entry for that number 14.
While you do that, I want to report that Eric Rodriguez, Blake Warren, Shane Sides, Henry Nova, Will Goss, and Dejan Weeks, along with Robbie Gilvin, as long as those get, well, Robbie Gilvin will be going EOLL. As long as they do not pit, they will take the whip around as Eric Rodriguez is going around, as is Blake Warren, Shane Sides. It looks like everybody I just mentioned who was eligible for the
52
wave
should be from
round
the
is
wave rounds.
going there. And the 52, Chris Emery, was the lucky dog.
So this is going to be very interesting. We're going to get a restart with about 7 or 8 laps remaining, depending on when we do the choose cone. This is going to be an interesting end to this race. This is going to be a shootout with about 7 or 8 laps, and given, I mean, pretty much everybody's going to be on fresh Goodyear Eagles. Hey, I don't know.
We didn't choose.
cone,
That wasn't choose cone. That wasn't choose cone.
choose cone was
And there
not
was a
that
choose
time.
cone there.
Nope, choose cone was not
The
that
field was
time.
very disorganized.
Right.
And race control still trying to organize the field. Gilvin will come back down the pit lane, and what was looking to be a promising run for the 69 team is not looking to be not promising anymore. And I think he is just believe.
Oh, you got black. Okay.
Not sure.
Yeah,
what he's...
unfortunate.
That's an ELL then, though, too. Okay. Sorry, I didn't know you had a black.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Robbie Gilvin. You know, when you were, that's where you got to pick and choose your battles, because I understand, you know, you have inside of 15 to go, but when
Good
you have a
single
pit
file
stop
back
left
there.
to go,
O2's
you
either low
have
for black
to
flag.
let that go. Just let it go, and unfortunately that didn't happen with Robbie Gilvin. Days of consequences, but, you know, you
Tail
live
end
to
O2.
fight another day, as they say, as we come down to the choose zone here. Let's take a look and see
Choosing
what
this time,
happens.
yes.
Looks like Dane's going to choose the inside, Jeff Dixon to the outside.
Pretty much everybody chooses
Chris
their
West.
respective lanes that they would have been in.
They do.
So
Black flag
Zach Roberts.
is needed low penalty.
Lama 6, Tingley
Yeah,
7, Jobin Anderson 8th, Chris Emery 9th, Shane Sides 10th. You got the rest of the field there.
yeah, Sides in 10th, and then you've got the O2 of Gonzalez in 11th, Will Goss 12th, Dejan Weeks back in 13th, and then last car in the lead lap is still Robbie Gilvin somehow. And they got Henry Nova, Tristan Allen is a lap down, and then Oscar Ramos Jr. in 77 of Eric Rodriguez, and then the heavily damaged number 8 of Blake Warren out on the pit lane.
Yeah, one thing to report too, the O2 of Camilo Gonzalez got an EOLL penalty just because he sped down the lane.
We want to get the line. We never come out of the
And oh, we got 1 degree.
I think it was Tristan Allen may have had a stop and go as well. We'll see.
Yeah, Tristan Allen fell out. He fell out of the server and came back in, so.
So they will abandon the green flag. So I believe they're going to get restarted with 6 laps remaining. And we are going to, my guess is we're going to have IMRC Cup overtime here at Boston. I mean, everybody's on pretty much fresh Goodyear Eagles, and look at those two. The 2 guys in the top of the charts in the points right now, Dun LaPrade and
Going green this
Chris
time.
Wentz.
On the Brad,
will
yeah.
will be going green this time by. The points lead, I believe, is on the line here because they're only separated by 10 points and not as much. I think LaPrade, given where he is, given the starting position he has right now, LaPrade will be the points leader. unless something catastrophic happens, but something catastrophic is probably going to happen here as they go back through the restart, not just in restart zone.
Yeah, high stakes racing here as Dane Stinson's gonna lead him down slowly to the start finish line. He takes a green flag. Jeff Dixon's got the Jeff Dixon lane. We'll see what he can do with it here in turn number 1. He goes to the outside, but you know, we've seen that inside line prevail so much on the restarts that Dane Stinson's going to grab it without contest. Here comes down the Prad, though. Let's see what Jeff Dixon will do on the outside. Here's the front 4 covered under a blanket. Nice and toasty warm. We only got 5 laps to go here.
5, count them, 5 to go for Dane Stinson. He's got 2 in a row as here comes the 6 of Rogers. And, you know, he's really good on the short runs, and you can burn your rubber up at this, and he is going to go for broke here in the Red Bull number 60. I don't think he's going to try and wreck anybody. Hopefully he doesn't, as Dixon washes up the racetrack just a bit. 4 to go at the line, and unless LaPrade can get something going here, I think Stinson is going to go to IMRC Cup victory lane for the 2nd time this season in a row.
Don't count it so soon. Zach Rogers is all over the back bumper and down the pad there. He is really firing the car right now, though, because Jeff Dixon was to his outside, and here comes down the pad. He got a good run there off of turn number 4. 3 laps to go at the Boston racetrack here. It is close. Down the Prad just ran his fastest lap of the race. Dane Stinson just ran his fastest lap of the race, as did Jeff Dixon, Zach Rogers, and Chris Wentz and Jovan Anderson. Everybody ran their fastest lap of the race here as they come off of turn number 4. Here comes Zach Rogers. Now the 2 laps to go.
Popsicle 6 in the air with 2 to go. LaPrade that time by is a quarter of a second off. Can Rogers get something to go? Lap and a half remaining. Now is the time. Rogers knows it's the time. Looks down low, but LaPrade cuts off, and Tristan out on the outside wall. Single accident. No caution is called. Single car accident. No yellow called. White flag in the air. One more time around the Boston International Speedway for Dane Stinson. And
here comes Zach Rogers. He's looking all over down the path there for second. Dane Stinson's waving bye-bye. Here he comes off turn number 4. Down the Prad is going to hold off Zach Rogers, but Dane Stinson's going to hold him off. He wins the IMRC Cup Series race at Boston.
And Gilvin will go through the grass, probably wrecking the whole field. Will do the ceremonious wreck in the outside wall. Massive wreck on the front straightaway. Probably would have killed someone in real life, but it doesn't matter. Dane Stinson, for the 2nd week in a row, is going to victory lane. You see the 6 of Zach Rogers congratulate him. So is Dun LaPrade, as Rogers will go down to the inside, probably to wreck his car. And Liam Tingley, not sure where Tingley finished. I believe Liam Tingley finished top 10, so good race. And Jeff Dixon will run it into the tire barriers. But what a race. Dane Stinson, the dominant driver of the race, will do a John Force style burnout down the front straightaway. Will completely destroy that number 7's engine. And what a race, Jonathan. What an absolute
That was really fun
race,
guys. That was a good job.
I was. 31 wins in NR, and I just cannot do one of those. So I have great appreciation for what Dane Stinson is doing out there. He led the top 10 there. Dane Stinson, Dylan LaPrade, Zach Rogers, Jeff Dixon the 2nd, Chris Wentz, Jovan Anderson, Cody Lama, Chris Emery, who got the lucky dog before the last caution finish.
Lights on Friday this week,
Weeks,
Evergreen Speedway, short track raisins, and then next Monday, IMRC Cup is also at Evergreen for some short track raisins. Should be pretty fun.
And you heard it there, as the session is complete, as everybody will go down into the garage area. We will see Dean Stinson, who was disqualified from the race according to this. So we will export the race just so we can watch it later, or export it just so we can know what happened. But
take us through the rest of the field.
Yeah, very, very interesting race. But Dane Stinson, 2 in a row. LaPrade, I believe LaPrade will extend his points lead going into this. We'll get 29 for second. We will look to see where Dane Stinson is. And Robbie Gilvin was 3rd in points. Not going to be there for long. And Dane Stinson looking for him in the points at the moment. I believe he's 24th last race, and I think he's going to skyrocket up through the standings. And good race for Dane Stinson, but you go through here, you got Chris Wentz, who was in the back of the field all day long, played the strategy game, Jovan Anderson, Cody Lamas, Chris Emery, who was the lucky dog car
lucky
on that
dog.
final wreck. And Dejan Weeks and Liam Tingley round out your top 10. Camilo Gonzalez, Robbie Gilvin, Shane Sines, Will Goss, Henry Nova, Oscar Ramos Jr., Eric Rodriguez, Blake Warren, and Tristan Allen round out your entire field. 19 cars finished the race. And what an absolute race that was. And we hopefully...
Dane Stinson, you're up in the booth. Dane, first of all, congratulations on the win. You led 110 laps, very dominant out there. Well, 109 actually of the 130. Take us through your night and what all happened.
Yeah, man, this was a really good night for me. Boston is one of my best tracks ever, so I was hoping to keep the streak alive. I think that's 3 or 4 straight wins at this track. I don't know how I managed to do that, but very good night overall. Car was great, track was great, setup was great. Everything went right for me, and I think that's what helped me out tonight to get the win.
Yeah, Dane, what was going through your mind that last caution that came out there with about 10 laps to go with Gilvin? Just what was going through your mind right there and then with just, hey, I could potentially get wrecked for their win. I don't know what's going to happen. Just what is going through your mind in the cockpit there?
Honestly, I'm kind of glad that caution came out because I don't know if I was going to make it on fuel. I think if I kept clutching, I would have been 1 or 2 to the good, but when that caution came out, that really helped me out so I could pit, get fresh tires, get a full tank of gas, and just drive as hard as I could all race on the restart.
For sure, and you held off many challenges there, racing with Zach Rogers, Dunn LaPrade, Cody Lamas, who was out there too. Who do you think was the toughest competitor all night to race against?
I think definitely all those guys were tough to race against. I think Zach was probably my hardest battle all race. I was battling him when I was clutching, trying to save fuel, and both of us were not letting go there. So I think he was definitely the hardest one tonight, but it was a very fun, hard battle, no contact, clean racing. That's what I race for. So good race with him, good race with everybody tonight.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was, I believe. And any more questions from you, Jonathan?
Yeah, I guess just like who would you like to think, who makes it possible for you to get out there on the racetrack and make it happen?
Definitely my guys at Gateway Racing. They make this possible. Everybody there works as hard as they can to get this car the way it needs to be. And I just appreciate all these guys for what they do to build race-winning race cars.
And absolutely. Sure. Dane Stinson, your official race winner here of the Monday Night Foreskin 130. I'm not sure if we have any more interviews here. I believe the top 3 get interviews if I'm not mistaken. So you'll have to correct me on that, Jonathan.
Yeah, we'll get them if we can. It looks like Dunn LaPrade is in the waiting room, so we will get him. Be up momentarily. And we mentioned the top 10. I want to run through the rest of the field. We had 11th place Camilo Gonzalez, 12th place Robbie Gilvin, 13th Shane Sines, 14th Will Goss, 15th Henry Nova, 16th Oscar Ramos Jr., 17th Eric Rodriguez. Good to see him out on track. 18th Blake Warren, 19th Tristan Allen. As we are joined by the man himself, 2nd place Dunn LaPrade. Welcome.
Hello.
So done. 2nd place. Really good race for you tonight. Unfortunately, could not get it done, but still really good run out of that number 25 Camping World Chevrolet Camaro. And hey, you've still got the points lead. If I'm not mistaken, you've extended your points lead over Chris Wentz by about 13 points or so. So how does that feel, especially going into a tough track like Evergreen next week?
Well, I mean, Evergreen is a really tough track. So I know that by racing over there, I think just last Saturday night, it's depending on how the track is going to be set up. It's a very tough short track. I will say that. But I mean, we got some momentum on our side going into that race. I mean, not typically the best on short tracks, so we're gonna have to see how that's gonna go. Because Evergreen is short tracks in general, I've just never really been that good at. So again, it's going to be interesting to go over there Yeah, I mean, we had a really good call all night. We were definitely second place, but for whatever reason, or Dane was just monster fast, long run and short run. I don't think it really mattered. I mean, he was just. I mean, that call was just. I mean, he's definitely proven himself to be a legit championship contender too already. So I'm happy to
Hmm.
see him win. But I mean, I don't know what I could have done different. All I know is that if I got second place or top five, if I finished, anywhere below third, I think I would have been disappointed. But I mean, to finish second at a track like Boston, going into the Evergreen, it's given me momentum for sure. I feel like we could do well at Evergreen for sure. Especially because down the late regular season races where you got some tough tracks we're coming up to like Charlotte, Daytona. You never know what's gonna happen at both of those tracks. So, I mean, I'm happy for myself, for able to have a great performance tonight, and we just got to keep it up. We still have yet to get that win, so I'd like to change that sometime soon.
Yeah, for sure. And we saw tonight that tire wear was mattered so much in the race. What was the perspective from the driver's seat, just as far as saving tires versus running hard? What did that look like from your perspective?
Well, racing, just trying to save tires was really kind of a tough, challenging task because you had all those cars beside you, in front of you, below you, and left and right. It was really, really difficult to manage your tires, because with you're racing in a pack like that, I could not really get it nailed down perfectly. But racing hard, aggressive, in the short run to the end, I mean, the tire wear was pretty significant too, but I mean, it was just trying to figure out. Just I honestly don't know how Dane did it. He's done it better than anyone else. I have to ask him for some tips and tricks, I guess. But I mean, yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, it was like I said, trying to save your tires, especially with people race battling against you, was very daunting task, I must say. You can do it, but you're gonna have to be really slow about it. Now, that was kind of the difficult thing. That was really the difficult thing about this race, is that even if you try to save tires, you got guys that are right on your back bumper waiting to pounce. So I was really trying so hard to defend because the track like Boston, I know that if I let someone pass by me, I may not be able to make it pass by him again because Boston is a really difficult track to pass. Especially with the way turn 3 and 4 is flat out, and then turns 1 and 2 you have to brake. So, it was a very interesting experience trying to conserve my tires and then trying to battle hard at the end too on the short run.
Conserving your tires
Yeah,
is
and
always a really good art, really interesting art form that not many can master. And looking at the schedule here, so we got a very diverse next section, a couple of tracks here. You got Evergreen, which is a flat short track, and they got a Charlotte Motor Speedway. That is a fast mile and a half, and then you got the Daytona International Speedway for the IMRC Sucks 150 on September 20th. With 3 races to go until the chase, with your points lead, Dane Stinson, he's only run 2 races and he has won both. He has run 3 races. Excuse me. He has won 2 of them. So, what are you thinking about seeing that number 7 car out of your rear view mirror? Any thoughts on that, or just think you can make it to the end and get the regular season championship and then make a fight towards this championship?
Well, I mean, as we all know at IMRC, you never know what's going to happen. So I know that Dane
hmm
is a very tough competitor, always has been, and it's always fun battling with him. So I mean, he does it a lot better than anyone else, and we got it. Those tracks. I mean, he's really good at all those tracks too. I will say. So it's gonna be tough to beat him. And then hopefully, for us, we could try to snag a win or two because, it's great that we have the points lead, but with the regular season coming to an end, I think the most important thing right now is try to get a win, to try to have some sort of comfort zone, without having like a elimination format. So, the 7 to 52, the 18, the 93, the 14. I mean, just everybody has a chance. I will say that. So I feel like we got a chance too. But right now, I think, with how competitive this field is, anybody can win it, and anything can happen in these next 3 races, then go along with the rest of the playoffs. So I'm excited to see what happens, and like I said, hopefully we can get that win because we should need it bad.
Yeah, and for sure, with Boston, it's a very sneaky track. You think you can run that outside lane, get a good run, and really carry the momentum, but you got to be careful with it. I saw Jeff Dixon running the outside lane, doing pretty well with that. What was your experience just like running that top lane and doing that?
Well, I think especially in turn 3 and 4, you can really make it work because it's kind of a near flat out track. If you really know how to hit a timing right on hitting the brakes and really know when to hit the throttle and be able to send it without slamming the wall, you can make turn 3 and 4 work. But turn 1 and 2 is tricky because you have to brake. But if you're on the bottom, people can kind of wash up sometimes. And I feel like the higher you can run on that top line before entering the corner, I feel like the more you can definitely arc it in the corner. But if you're on top 2, that's also an advantage too, because the bottom lane, if you're side by side with someone, you're kind of at a disadvantage just because you have to arc into the turn. You have to turn it more as opposed to being on the outside in turn 1 and 2. But especially in I think that second stint where we're all in the pack. I mean, it was really wild. Yeah, I really do not know what I could really do there, but I was just. I mean, the only thing I could try to do is try to hold on and trying to work the top lane, even though I won the bottom. But I mean, that the outside was pretty fun to work with sometimes. May not work all the time. Again, it just depends on the tire wear too, because that also adds into the factor too. So, I mean, like I said, it's a very fun track. I will say that, but it's a pain in the butt to pass people too sometimes. So.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, it was. Jonathan, you have anything else for Dunn?
Well, kind of the baseline question. Who would you like to thank? Who makes it possible? Who pays the bills? Who scratches your back, if you will?
Well, I guess myself. I guess if you consider that as me scratching my own back. But Camping Oil, La Pride Performance, Lucas Oil. I mean, we got some great sponsors on board. La Pride Performance, I think we're going to come up with a new paint scheme with that sometime soon. So hopefully Charlotte, maybe Daytona. So hopefully my brand, I'm excited to see my brand, being on board. I actually haven't ran a third call, see the paint scheme all season long. So I'm interested to see what it's going to look like by my paint crew back at the shop. I can't wait to see what they have in mind. And Camping Oil, Lucas Oil, La Pride Performance, just thank all the guys for making it possible. And don't forget, Lucas Oil is awesome.
Indeed, it is. Second place finisher and current points leader, if I'm not mistaken, Dunn Laprade was finished his second here tonight at Boston. And I believe we should have Zach Rogers in the pipeline, in the waiting room for the interview, if I'm not mistaken.
The short run superstar.
Yeah. Indeed, you are. So, Zach, a couple of things to talk about here. So, first off, you had
Wait, let's get Zach in here. Let's get Zach in here.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, Mr. Zach Rogers, can you hear us?
Let's get him here. You know what? One thing about Zach, though, he ran a really good race tonight. Even if the tires did burn up on some of those longer runs, it's a lot of fun to see him. I love that Red Bull scheme. I don't know what do you think of that?
I think
that was cool.
I think that Red Bull scheme, it looks very plain. Looks like kind of like along the same lines as like the Rich Energy cars that Haas F1 had a couple years ago. But it looks absolutely beautiful, and I think Rogers, you could measure this race on an absolute seismograph, and I believe we finally have Mr. Zach Rogers in the booth with us tonight right now.
Yo,
yes. Mr. Welcome. Zach Rogers, welcome to the pre-race show. First off, congratulations on your third place finish here at the Boston International Speedway. You had quite a night tonight with getting turned around, the almost triggering a big one there with Jovan Anderson and Robbie Gilvin, and ended up getting on the podium here tonight.
Yeah.
Yep, man of a few words. So, just how was your experience tonight, and not really experience it. Just how did you run your race, and I think you played the strategy very well at the end of just like running everything out at the end and just going for broke there at the end, trying to get around Dunlop Rod.
Yeah, no, it was. I figured out the short run speed there a little near the end, and long run wise, I just couldn't do anything. So the caution benefited me there at the end, and I just couldn't get by Dunn at all there. Dunn was running a perfect line at the end of the race, and yeah, it was a good race. The wreck with me, Jobin, and Robbie didn't wreck, but it was just a scary situation there in the turn 3-1 lap. And then the actual wreck I was in there, I spun out because I hit the 5, and then the 71 had nowhere to go.
Yeah, but hey,
Yeah.
you recovered, and that is what is important here.
Yeah, we were watching you all night. You mentioned that you figured out the short run speed toward the end of the race. You and Robbie Gilvin, of course, are racing very hard. What was like some of the highlights of the night for you just in the race? Were there certain things that just clicked, worked well? What were some highlights from the race?
I think the only highlights was around the middle to the end there, where Dane and Shane were saving fuel and doing their thing, and I was able to run up there and race them for the lead a little bit. And then at the end of the race there with Dunn and Dane, it was pretty competitive, but I struggled in the beginning pretty much.
Yeah, the beginning
Sure.
here. You go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I guess just looking at the race tonight, who are some of the toughest competitors, the people that you enjoyed racing the most, who were the toughest to race?
Sorry, ask that again.
Yeah, so just looking at tonight, who are some of the competitors out there that were the most competitive to race that you enjoyed racing with? And also, who are some of the toughest?
Everyone here is pretty competitive, and everybody's tough to race against. It's I guess it's more about knowing who's aggressive, because I consider myself to be pretty aggressive and I hold back a lot. But there's other guys who are also just pretty aggressive throughout the whole race. Robbie's very aggressive, and he's able to run up front pretty much the whole run too. This track, of course, though, just grinds your tires into sawdust. But yeah, Robbie, I was having a pretty good time with Blake there in the beginning. Blake was running pretty good there on the first run. Shane, Don, Dane, Joven was kind of struggling tonight, as was I for a little bit there. And yeah, it's just this league's got a lot of competitiveness in it.
Yeah, but hey, on the bright side, first top 5 of the season, so you got a little bit of momentum going into next week at Evergreen. That is going to be a fun track to watch from up here in the booth, but a little bit of a hard track to drive at Evergreen. What are your expectations going into the Pacific Northwest for the Mellon Car Sucks 140 next week?
Well, I've only run Evergreen online on NR 2003 once, and that was at FTF Racing Leagues last year, and I almost won that race, but the setup for this league will probably be completely different, and the track will probably drive completely different. But I usually do pretty good on short tracks, so I expect to do decent, I guess. But this league is so competitive, you never know. Like you might go in expecting to be 5th, and then you're 10th, so you end up you're better off just going in there trying to keep your car clean and just finish at the end of the race without any damage.
For sure. Yeah, and shout out to, of course, to Justin Malillo and all them over at FTF. Now they're running iRacing after doing NR for the longest time. Great league. Dak, just one question that we always like to ask people is, who are the people that make it possible? Who scratches your back? Who makes it possible, basically?
My Logitech wheel, my Digital Storm computer, my Corsair headset, Red Bull energy drink, of course, as you can see on the car. I have one of those every day around lunch.
Beautiful looking scheme, by the way. Well, I will say that absolutely just one of the best looking schemes out there on the track.
I gotta thank Seth Cole for that. Seth Cole's a master.
Seth Cole, yeah.
We all know Seth Cole very well.
And then obviously my teammates Joven and Natan. Natan wasn't here tonight. I don't know what he was doing, but got to thank them for working with me every week, and everyone else who's a pretty good racer and positive over here. Shout out to all of them, I guess. And of course to Shane, because Shane's a one-man admin show over here, and I mean I got to give props to him, because dealing with all of us people is probably the most stressful thing to him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just I don't like tight setups, but I like the competitiveness here, so here I am.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Zach? Yeah, was this Zach? Congratulations again on third place finish.
Thanks.
Trey, anything else?
That is all I've got personally. So I believe that was all the interviews that we will do here tonight. But what a race here from Boston. What an absolute race here tonight. Final thoughts on the race, Jonathan. A little bit of a quieter race that we typically see here in the IMRC. Didn't see any big ones, but definitely a race for the ages with Dane Stinson absolutely tattooing the field. But it did come down to a last 7-lap shootout, but Stinson was able to overcome that and end up in IMRC victory lane. Final thoughts on the Monday Night Foreskin 130.
I kind of laughed when you said quiet race tonight, because it was far from quiet. We saw some great racing, all groups of the racetrack, but you are right. It was quiet in terms of cautions. Didn't see a whole lot of cautions, but when you have a track like Boston where you can run all over the racetrack, the tire wears out, the tire is a lot, and there's comers and goers, you get some great racing. It was a lot of fun to see tonight. Dane Stinson led 109 laps of 130 possible. Cody Lamas was up there for a little bit. Zach Rogers, who we talked to. A couple guys that I wish would have shown more performance, who showed performance throughout the night, but fell back at the end. Of course, Robbie Gilvin, Camille Gonzalez, they finished 11th, 12th, Camille in 11th, Robbie in 12th. Game, they weren't up there for the finish, but great race overall. What did you think, Trey?
I think it was an absolutely, I don't want to say insane race, so they go on the opposite end of the spectrum there, but it was a fun race to watch here up in the booth here at the Boston International Speedway. And like you said, just a lot of action, especially in the midfield, not so much towards the front, actually a lot towards the front. Like you see like the first, like the battles for second, third, fourth, and on from that were absolutely fun to watch. And it was a good race to watch if you love a lot of passing and like some interesting moments here, especially if you like amazing saves and you like cars getting out of shape and being able to save it. And if you like shootouts at the end, I suggest you rewatch this race. But absolutely awesome race here from Boston. Once again, Boston International Speedway putting on an amazing show here on the IMRC Cup Series, and what a weekend here from Boston. Definitely in the lights race Friday. I know it was a little bit of a late edition there that Boston was going to be running the race, lights race on Friday. Obviously, this is a game, so it's not as much, but props to the people there on putting it together, and pretty good weekend here at Boston. Any last words before we sign off for tonight?
Good racing, one of the best IMRC races that I've ever watched personally, just for the sheer competition and how close everybody was, only with a few slowdowns in there. Great race, a lot of fun to watch. Good job to Dane Stinson, good buddy of mine from back in the day. We're back again. Isn't that I think I've raced on NR since 2010, August of 2010, and I think it's amazing just how much it comes in cycles. You get to race against your friends, race against a lot of the old stuff that you used to race on. We've been racing at Boston for years. And it was a lot of fun seeing Joven and Dean and seeing Dunn and seeing Jeff Dixon, all the guys that I used to race against back in the day. I'm taking a little personal moment here. Just seeing those guys out there racing and putting on a good show. That was a lot of fun to watch.
It's definitely a good one to watch, but we are about halfway through the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. We'll take a look at the schedule right here, because we have got quite a few races left to go in before we have the playoffs begin, or the chase begins, whoever you would like to talk about that. But We've got 3 races, in fact, left to go before we set the playoff grid for the B side of the 2021 season. Next week, we will be in the Pacific Northwest at the Evergreen Speedway at the Melon Car Sucks 140. That is going to be an interesting race. Then next week, we'll be doing the throwback weekend for the Throwback 180 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway with 120 laps. That'll be fun. And theme this year is run a car that run a car that ran the year you were born. I've got something cooking for the lights race that I'm going to be running. And then
you got a preview?
Yes. Actually, I will say it live on air. It is Scott Wimmer's. It's throwback to Scott Wimmer's Memphis Motorsports Park Bill Davis Racing win on October 20th in the Busch Series. And the thing about that, why that's so specific, that race was supposed to be run on October 19th, 2002, and that was my birthday right there, Saturday, October 19th, 2002. So a little bittersweet to discover that the car that won the most recently after I was born should have won on my birthday, but a little bit of a personal touch there. The car that should have won on my birthday, I will be throwing back to that in the lights race. And then the week later, the IMRC Sucks 150 from the Daytona, the World Center of Racing, the Daytona International Speedway. And then we'll have an off week from that. And then the IMRC Cup playoffs begin. The 6 race playoffs, beginning with the Daytona Road Course, the Florida Man 107. These are some very interesting race names we got here in the IMRC Cup Series. That'll be the last road course race of the season. The Chicagoland Speedway plays host to the Chevy Truck Month 180 on October 11th. Atlanta Motor Speedway plays host to the Craft Punk 180 on October 18th. Tri-Counties Motor Speedway to the top dragster is Gay 150. And if you're wondering why Andrew Miller is not on the call tonight, that is because he's taking care of some personal stuff. Hopefully he will be on the call soon as he's moving in and just doing some personal stuff right there. Dover National Speedway will play host to the IMRC Lights 180 on November 1st, and then the finale at the Homestead Miami Speedway will be the Championship 180 on November 8th. Then we got the All-Star Race. That location has yet to be determined, and that will do it for 2021. And then in February of 2022, we'll be back on the circuit doing who knows what, who knows where. But that is going to be all we have got here from the Boston International Speedway. Congratulations once again, Dane Stinson, on a dominating performance here at the Boston International Speedway. And that is all we have got. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Your points will be able to be viewed on the spreadsheet, on the whatever it's called, the link on the Facebook group. If you are not in there, if you will be interested. If you're interested in driving, we have a lights program, which is kind of like an Xfinity program. If you are a novice driver like me, feel free to ask. It's a very friendly community here in the IMRC. Memes are made here is the motto. And memes were not made here tonight. Legends were made here tonight. Dane Stinson wins the Monday Night Foreskin 130 here at Boston. And once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen, from the Boston International